This is Adam Rubin, and this is podcast number 1, which we have a great guest coming on, Elisa Bennett. She is an expert in getting leads that you love and getting more sales. So I'm going to have her kind of jump in and talk a little bit about herself, where she's at, some challenges she's had, and hopefully educate you guys and gals on new ways to find leads and better ways to do that more efficiently. So, hi, Elisa. How are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me. Yeah. So my background is sales with IBM right out of college. I was winning candy bar sales contests in the 5th grade, getting the girls together at apartment complexes.
One of those, weren't you?
Yep.
I see that.
I was, and I was super excited that I 2x my numbers in the 5th grade. So clearly a sales geek. So out of college, I was lucky enough to get a job with IBM. I was in San Francisco selling to Bank of America, Wells Fargo, state of California. And clients expected you to show up at their desk to help them spend their money. Best possible lead, right? And then all the way through my business cycle, most recently, are you familiar with Paul Mitchell?
Yes, the
hair care
product.
Right.
Yeah.
So Paul's son is Angus, and Angus asked me to come out to Beverly Hills and launch his salon brand. So we had a salon with no clients in it. I dropped an ad online. This was 2008. And in the morning, there's this commercial from a little while ago, open. The people were waiting there was like a person out there waiting. We had sold out of 417 appointments. And oh my gosh, did I not, that was the taste of online marketing. So I was very excited about the possibilities and what was actually happening. Angus decided to build a car museum. And so that was my sort of freedom move to launch my own online agency. So for me, yeah. So
I like that. I like that little pivot right there. You saw something, you actually enjoyed it. You're like, I'm gonna continue with that.
I'm all about business development. I love what I do right now because I get to help people with their business and get the freedom of being able to have that taste of those kinds of leads. Well, nothing was ever as great as the IBM lead, right? Come and show me how to spend my money. I had done inside sales where people were telling me to stick things places, and I'd have every kind of lead. When I first launched out with my agency, I started with email leads, and don't get me wrong, every single platform has its flavor and its wonderfulness if you go deep in it. If that's what is working for you, that's great. Well, email to me, I always felt like I needed a little bit more. And it was like the 3rd or 4th conversation that people stopped saying, who are you? What's this about? With this, something just told me LinkedIn. The second I turned it on, I had to turn off my email. Had to turn it off. The leads were so good that I wasn't even following up with them. Now, this is not a good thing at all. But basically, if somebody didn't slap themselves onto my calendar, I was like, I got too much coming in hot here. I don't have time for anything other than getting on calls with people. So my calendar was fully booked all the time. I was teaching agencies how to do this. Everybody's having great results. It's years later, still great results. The way that I look at LinkedIn right now is not that you have to be there, but if you are interested in a client that's got 75K and above ads, that's the kind of revenue that they've got coming in, where like a Facebook lead is about 20K on average. The conversation is already business minded, so we're already in the right frame of mind. When I get on those calls, nobody is saying, what's this about? Who are you? Everybody knows, because your platform, top to bottom on your LinkedIn page, is talking about exactly how you help people. And that's what I help people do now, is I've created sort of a cheat sheet hack in going and finding your client's own words, what they say is important to them, because we've only got 3 to 5 seconds of their attention to boom, tell them exactly how you help them. So if they are an ideal
crazy
client,
how little time we have.
Little
5
time.
seconds? That's like
Well,
nothing. That's
are
like
you
less than
gonna?
a goldfish, right? A goldfish is like 7. Or
There
less
you
than
go.
that.
Less than
We're
a gold.
terrible.
Well, for sure. I mean, how many profiles on any platform are you checking out in detail? You got to have something that pops out that gets them to stop, and then if they are not your ideal client, leave you alone, of course. But if they are, to go further. So yeah.
So you help with the whole making, not just even getting the leads, but even showing up, presenting your whole page as a, like redoing the whole LinkedIn page so it's everything is utilized and efficient. So when you're targeting these high ticket clients who ideally we all want, it's straight to business. Because when you talk to I've had times when I've talked to some lower end, and there's a lot more questioning, and they may or may not have the money, but when you're talking to a real business owner, they want to get down to business.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel you on that for sure.
Yeah. Well, the platform.
What do you
Oh, go ahead.
do you want to you finish? I was just
Yeah.
going to ask another question.
The platform, just so of sort of a point of reference, that the platform was set up to help people get a job. And my system that I help people set up, it has an engine, it has a heart, which is reaching out and connecting and messaging to people in not a lazy way. And what not a lazy way means not sending your message out to everybody and not having it highly targeted, so that it's not irritating a whole bunch of people. There's a bunch of people getting on the platform being lazy. Don't be lazy.
Copy and paste the copy and paste to the wrong industry, wrong name.
Yeah, I don't
so
care.
Times.
Just max
I'm
that.
not Mark, and I'm not in construction. Who is this?
Not only is that going to lower your conversions, but it's also going to get that permission removed from you. If you're sending messages that a whole bunch of people are saying, I don't know you, you eventually get that permission removed from you. Now, there's ways around that and to say safer, but that's the engine, right? The connection and messaging. The way that the platform is set up, when you and I are connected, we're first degree connections, and all our collective connections that we are not connected yet to, those are our second degree connections. And then their common connections we're not connected to, third degree. Brick wall, that's all we have access to on LinkedIn. So if we've got this connection and messaging system working, how about if you have your LinkedIn page a highly converting sticky paper, so that if one of those people that can now see you, once that door opens, if you're reaching out to, let's say, 25 to 50 people on autopilot every day, hey, can I be of service to you in any way? Now all of their connections can see you, have the chance to see you. Why not let that LinkedIn page work behind the scenes and make that system work even better? So with the platform starting out as a career platform, what it's doing is making you invisible unwittingly, because it's taking you down this path of your accomplishments, your title, your experience, which is great for recruiters, horrific if you're looking for clients who really don't care about us. They really, really don't. They care, how can we help them? So that's what I do, is take that LinkedIn page and turn it around into a sticky how can you help people page, that my 7-day trial takes you through that easy system. Pick up your client's own words, repurpose it back to them. Like I've got one that my client sent to me. You save me $5,000 to $10,000 a month in ad spend. I've just got that in my headline. That's what my client said. And how your clients speak is a little bit different than how we would. Like you and I might look at our clients and think, oh, I can get them this and I can get them that, but they're not there yet. We're looking at the end of the road for them, right?
Yeah,
so this hack helps us data mine. And what I do is say, go to your testimonials, not in general, but for that low-hanging fruit thing that you want to attract someone for. Not your book, not your speaking gig, but if you're trying to attract for one-on-one coaching, go and look at what your one-on coaching people said. Your very best client is somebody that spends money with you, loved what you did for them so much that they wrote something about you. Take those words, repurpose them out into the world, and attract more people like them.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, because I feel like we don't want people to say, so what, of your accomplishments. We want people to feel like were just like them, like me too. They wanted that familiarity. I feel like it's a psychological thing as well, which is pretty sweet. What would you say, like, as you're coming up, like, have you had any like learning points, like any any failures that turned into something that you've learned, kind of trial and error type of deal?
What type of deal? What was that last thing that you said?
Like the trial and errors.
Trial and error.
Like did you have any failures that you were able to learn from as you were coming up in this new genre?
Well, I would say I have failures daily, which to me are discoveries of how I can make my system better for my clients. And where I'm at is where they're going to be in a second. So I need to build it, if that makes sense. So when I first launched my LinkedIn funnel, those fish are jumping into the boat. They're cutting themselves up into sushi and putting themselves in my mouth and dropping some soy sauce on. So, I mean, lazy and spoiled, that's not where I want to lead my clients, right? So right now we're in the process of developing a lead follow-up system that includes so for what happens in my inbox is people will say, hey, can you send me more information? Hey, I'd like to get on an appointment. All of those people don't necessarily get on a call. A lot of them don't. And it's about follow-up. It's 8 touch points before most people are going to get to the next step. Now,
That's a lot.
That is humongous, considering that most people follow up with their leads within 48 hours. Each day that you wait to follow up with your lead, your conversion drops by 50%, another 50%, another 50%.
That's a lot.
Another statistic.
Each day, 50%. That's crazy.
Yeah. So imagine, if you will, you are looking inside of your LinkedIn inbox and somebody says, hey, can we get on a call? How about if you respond back to them with your message about getting on a call, which again, it's not all about you. It's not all about, here's my calendar link, figure it out because I'm more important than you. It's about giving them some options, maybe a this or that and a calendar link, right? You want to show what it's not that you want to show somebody, you are literally showing them what is it going to be like to be in your world. So if you just say, here's my calendar link, you're saying it's all about me. My time's more important than you. So you're every step of the way. Remember, you're developing this relationship. Okay. So now you created a proper message that somebody would respond to. The calendar link gets like maybe a 10% response. So how about go with 90? I say, please share some date and time options that work for you. Or if it's easier, leading the witness, right? Or if it's easier, my calendar link is XYZ PDQ. That comes from my salon background, which is the this or that option. And that takes somebody to the place that you're going. Do you prefer the beginning of the week or the end of the week? Versus, is the end of the week good for you? What's the answer to that? It's always no. If you ask somebody
it's
a
that
question,
2-point close you're talking about. That 2-point.
There you go.
That's what we used to call it.
Okay, very good. Okay, so
we have either Wednesday or Friday.
Head them to where you want them to go. Make it easier for them that you can be of service to them. The reason why they're having this conversation is because you can help change their life, probably. So be of service in that way, and then oh gosh, I was gonna say something else, but I lost it. I'm sorry, I lost it. The follow-up process. Okay.
The follow-up. Yeah.
Yep. The other really important stat on follow-up is if you follow up within a week versus testing within 24 hours, you're going to improve your conversions by 33%. So you've got that inbox person.
Okay.
And this, Adam, is where all of my clients throw their leads away. Once we set their system up and it turns on, the ones that do really well right away, I have a reply tracker with copy to help them get them onto a call. most people will come back to me and say, oh, I can't get it to work. And I'm like, really? Oh, let's take a look, shall we? So I'm looking at their messages and I see, okay, you're not caring, you're not listening. Somebody will say, hey, can you send me more information? And they go, here's my calendar link. How rude is that? They didn't even listen. Okay, how much is it? Oh, it's best if we discuss it. Really? How about if I know what's best for my business? And how about if you send me what I asked for? Is this what it's going to be like to work with you? So that inbox is where the issue is in the follow-up. So right now we're putting the system together that's going to have multiple touch points, which is a call, a text, an email, and of course the LinkedIn inbox, which is so juicy and wonderful and works so well. Why not maximize what you've got? Right? If you've got something good, let's get the most out of it. So that's where we're at right now. And what we're always doing is getting better and better results. As all these yahoos come onto the platform with their super lazy marketing, we're figuring out how to do things better and better and better all the time.
Yeah, I remember I actually was watching a video of yours yesterday and you were going into detail about the app that you were creating. And I thought that sounded so like it seems so much better than, because LinkedIn Navigator, you have so much you could do, but the follow-up process, I feel like that's the biggest point where we lose people, we lose them in the tons of messages, or something like that. I never took advantage. Like when I had a free trial of Sales Navigator, I'm like, what do I do now? I had access to people, but I didn't really know, I didn't really take advantage of any system like I wish I did before.
Yeah.
So that's great though. I feel like that's what we need to do. We need to keep improving and innovating in order to survive and thrive.
Exactly. Yeah, if you can listen. And sometimes people are in a state of fear. There's COVID. I've had clients that have come to me unknowingly. They were bankrupt almost with supporting 5 people. Those kinds of states of emergency are not going to allow you to listen because you're going to be so that you're not going to see all of this wonderful that's laying there. Mindset is so important to sales. So I tell people, go get a job, wherever you can to release that pressure so that you can have a system started, get it converting, start to taste that and feel what it's going to feel like for you. Have some wins that you get used to, and then you can slowly fade away that other existence that you were hanging out in. But if you're bringing that with you, you can have the, best thing in the world. You're going to crash it into a tree. So
yeah, I definitely, and it's like a confidence from within, like when you're going into the conversation as well. If you're carrying around, I need to make money, I need to get the sale, it's just backfired. Like I have teammates, like it's like 2 weeks in, I don't have a sale yet. What do? I'm like, well, first of all, forget about it for a second.
Forget about it.
You're good. You're gonna get it. We have 14 days. You're telling me we can't do it in 14 days. We did it last month. We could do it again. It's like, but by bringing that extra energy, that outside, whatever they're going through, I feel like it rubs off and the client senses it. Like it's like a sense.
Oh, for sure.
Wondering why they're not getting that response. So I completely agree.
Yeah, the desperate person at the bar. Oh yeah, sure. No, that's what we're coming with when we're coming with all.
I'm gonna have to steal that one.
That's what sales is. Sales is dating. Think of that whole cycle. I tell people when they pounce on them, I'm like, do you go up to somebody at the bar and say, hey, let's get married? No, let's kind of develop a relationship.
Depends. We're in Las Vegas.
Well, yeah, I guess maybe some people, right. And some people do like to get married fast. Yep. You have those people that are just ready to buy your solution right away and they drop in and that's great. But yeah, we're not trying to scare the fish away. So
yeah, sometimes we got to nurture a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that. For sure. Who would you say like was like kind of when you started getting into the marketing and LinkedIn and right now, like who would you say you looked up to like inspirational wise, or do you look up to anyone or?
Well, I've seen results of people that have been at it for a little bit longer, like Marie Forleo. I like the system that she's created for herself not to kill herself, and Amy Porterfield. And what that looks like is realizing that scaling is a thing, that there's only one of you, and understanding what works well for you. So I have some magic in me that helps people to change their lives. But if I allow people to come into my world that I'm a little bit of a sensitive flower. So, that's what I know about myself. So I know that I need to structure my day in a certain way. I know that no platform is consistent ever. So you need to be building your list and take advantage of what you can while you're able to do it now, because just like LinkedIn is so wonderful now, email used to be so wonderful for some people. Email I love, and I love that everybody's moving away from it. That's a really, really good thing. But for instance, Google, all these people are at the top of Google. They've got a 7-figure business. The algorithm changes, everyone's wiped out. So knowing that once you find an idea and a way of serving people that they're responding positively to, scaling it in the best way that you can that doesn't murder you. And realizing, to maybe put systems in place where you can take a vacation. And if, hanging out and doing one-on-ones is what's great for you, creating the system and the tribe where you can step away from it for a second if you need to. You don't want to build a business that you can't get sick or something like that. There's,
Yeah, right?
I mean, it's not just working for yourself. It's not just building a business, but there's a lot of skill set around it that is super important. So looking at somebody like a Gary Vaynerchuk, seeing him kind of like cracked out of your mind personality, for lack of a better term, that's him though, right? That's authentically him.
Yeah,
Authenticity is super. Yeah. Authenticity is super important, and you can see the success of him going down a road, but you can also see, is this the road that you want to go down? Is putting out 100 pieces of content a day the kind of business structure that you want to create for yourself? Or is there another way that's going to make you live a great life? So thinking about your temperament and your lifestyle within the way that you help people, and trying to help as many people as you can, as soon as you can, and then, create investment vehicles to support you as the online environment changes, as the world changes, where you can get excited about some new TikTok or whatever the flavor du jour is, and you're not in your business so focused that you can't figure out this new strategy for your clients to bring them along towards, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I mean, it could take a lot out of people to make content, let alone, Gary Vee happens to have everything documented, and he's had a lot of interviews, and he has a lot to work with. Yeah. So his team is able to chop that up into billions of people. He probably has so many on stock, and sure. people just starting out are like, I want to do the same, but we don't have that. We don't have the same vehicle right now. It's like we're leasing a car like that's a little cheaper. We don't have access to all the nice luxury features that Gary Vee has right now. But to get there, he didn't start off like that. He
was creating that himself.
Yeah, he was doing it himself. So that is inspirational in its own. But I think people tend to overestimate what they could do in a short period, and then they underestimate what they could do in longer periods.
That's a really great point.
People giving up so short, after just a little time. I'm like, you're just there, like you're about to cross the line, and it's like this. It is that's what separates the winners from the losers, I guess.
Yeah.
Those that give up and not.
In marketing, I think that there's I hear agency owners that I used to look up to say it works 50% of the time and 50% of the time it doesn't for their clients. 80% of the time it works, 20% of the time it doesn't. And that's exactly the thing that drives me nuts is a client going along. There's this picture of this diamond mine and you've got the diamond pick and they're this way, this far from the diamonds are right here and they turn around and walk away. I'm not giving up. You shouldn't give up either. If you've got a marketer that believes in you and what you do, once you launch that campaign, that's when the work starts. That's when you start dialing it in, and it's a safe. It's this many to the left, this many, you're going back and forth until all the tumblers click, and then you realize what's your baseline. What are you going to get from this funnel? And that's when you decide, once you've optimized it, the follow-ups optimized, they're getting as much as they possibly can from that funnel. That's where you can take that and then just replicate it, double your results, depending on what you're doing. If you're on Facebook, double your ad spend dollars. Hopefully you've got the right marketer that can scale you with that. On LinkedIn, I'll tell my clients, let's get this one account optimized, fully rocking. And then let's take that strategy once we've got it fully juiced. And if you can handle more, a lot of the times my clients are dialing it down. If you can handle it more, then we can put that on another platform. But the only thing is that you have to make sure that you're following up with those leads, right? Why would you do something like that if you're not following up with all of those leads properly? That's where I see so many Facebook campaigns go wrong. And now I'm bringing it over to LinkedIn too. Same thing. The Facebook ads are horrific if you don't follow up with them within 5 minutes. They have no clue who you are. It's follow up over there. So all the things that you need to do on other platforms, bringing it onto LinkedIn where it's so good, you can just get so much better results, and it's ad spend free. So that's the cool thing.
That's cool. I mean, that's why I and my team and everyone, I have them all start off trying, to turn cold leads into prospects and then book appointments. Because I think it's important to be able to do both, we'll have paid campaigns where, we'll have some warm leads coming in, but at the same time, if you run through them, you're not just going to sit there. I want you to be able to, network and find leads naturally. And because there are people out there that are always wanting your service or services. It's just a matter of exactly finding where they are, where they spend their time, and sending the right message. Right. So I think both paid and organic should be a part of, if you can do the paid, definitely combining the both, I feel, is a huge benefit. Oh, for sure. Yeah. If you can get one source of lead to start, depending on where your budget is, that it's organic, that's super helpful, right? Because maybe you don't have a lot of money. The way that I've set up my agency is we don't do monthly. We build the system and we give it to you. So then you can generate those leads for yourself. So what I'm doing is I'm building a tribe of people that I can take to the next level and add the next layer of marketing onto, because now they've got a budget. Now they see where my heart is at, where my interest lies. I'm obsessed with online marketing. So as I'm layering all these things to help more and more, then there's a safety. Because if you just have one source of leads, you're standing on one leg. If COVID happens or something happens, all those people, was it 2008 when Google changed the algorithm and those 7-figure businesses wiped out, all the agencies wiped out. Nobody knew that algorithms could change. So now these businesses are out of business. If those businesses had started with that one source of leads, and then once they got to the point where they had ad spend, found somebody that could help them that was talented on that other source of leads, now you're funneling all of this organic money extra into the second source of leads. Now, if one of those sources of leads, falls out from under, they're still standing. So if you can get, I look at it like a tripod. If you have 2 legs, that's better than one. But if you have 3 legs, if one of those falls out, you're still good. You're still sturdy, yeah. Yeah, I worked for a business. I like that analogy. I worked for a business. We were at the top of the SEO in our niche, which was small accounts, small businesses. We were creating websites and an SEO program for them. And their source of leads, only one way they could do it was through a robocall scenario.
which that strategy was taken away from them. They tried to offshore it, where instead of a robocall, it was someone offshore that would call them. And the numbers never worked out. The conversion never worked out. That business was bringing in, I think it was $400,000 of new business every single month. That whole business compounded, residual compound every single month at its peak. And that business totally went out of business. So it didn't go out of business totally, but it stopped bringing the 400K on. There were 10 of us left at the very end before they closed down the whole sales team. They tried to hold on for dear life, but they only had one way to bring leads in. So, and for whatever reason, they couldn't figure it out. I wasn't running the business. So yeah. So then now they just sit on that pot of money that slowly dwindles down. I mean, it's not a horrible life for most of us if we were living on that egg, but still, you don't.
But now knowing this, and it's like, now I want to make sure I have more than one source coming in. It's at all times.
Yeah. So what we're always looking for, in any area, I think of doctors, hairstylists, we always want to find that top 1%. Right? Because if you're working with those people that are saying 50% of the time it works and 50% of the time it doesn't, that's where people have I've tried LinkedIn, it doesn't work. I tried Facebook, it doesn't work. It's not that they don't work. You need to find someone that has success that makes it work, that will constantly listen to their audience and pivot, listen to the platform and pivot. So probably somebody that's been doing it for longer than a minute is a good idea. If you hear them say what they do and how it's different than other people, you might learn things that you didn't even think about. Like, for instance, some of my clients choose to use automation tools. That goes against LinkedIn's terms of service. So all automation tools. Yeah. And what else also goes against LinkedIn's terms of service is having someone else access your account. Well, is that realistic that nobody would help you follow up with your leads or whatever, right? So what that looks like is if you do choose to do certain things, doing it in the safest way. A lot of agencies will say, well, we've never had any problems before, so we don't think we ever will. Well, I mean, I see businesses all the time. There was this woman, she was a Beachbody coach. She was doing I think it was a Facebook group or a page or something like that. And she knew the rules that she wasn't supposed to pitch from a certain place in a certain way. Well, nothing's ever happened before. I don't think it ever will. First thing she did wrong. She didn't back up her list. Any platform that you're on, anywhere you're on,
block you off, you're done.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah. Okay. First of all, she started with the peg leg strategy, which is one source of leads. Okay. Right. One source of leads. And then on top of that, she didn't back it up. You have got to back it up. On LinkedIn, I talk about how important it is to get referrals, recommendations. That on any platform is going to bump you by 80% your conversion. If somebody else said you're cool, that's almost like their grandma saying it. So you're going to take screenshots of that on any social platform and back it up someplace else. And ideally, my background is availability services with IBM. And what that means is making sure that systems stay on. So let's say an airline, their computers go down for 4 hours, that airline could go out of business, right? So there's companies where they've sold the company to people in the company. They had their list of leads. They had it backed up. Okay, great. But they only had one source of this backup. And they separated the $1 million producing company a year. Okay, let's go our separate ways. That list disappeared. Ooh. So that money disappeared, right? So back it up in 2 different places. If you are even just running your business off of Gmail, let's say you have a YouTube account. Let's say it's at a time when you're not allowed to do videos about COVID that might have something that's not what the mainstream thinks is okay. That whole YouTube account could get canceled. And then that can actually affect, now you've got a business you've been running for 10 years off of Gmail. Your Gmail account gets canceled. Oh, by the way, were you backing up your leads list
connected in
the cloud?
Just like
everything's
Instagram
gone.
And Facebook. Yeah.
It's all gone. Yeah. So back stuff up. If you've got it in your Google Docs, I've got a lot of stuff in my Google Docs. Back it up in there's Dropbox. A lot of people are using Dropbox. And you can do a Zap where it just automatically you've got it someplace else too. So just make sure not to trust. Do not trust. You do not own your platform wherever you're building it. What you are building is that list of leads, right? And you get all of that contact information, and then you put it one place, and then you put it in another place, and that's going to make you as safe as you possibly can be. But having all this time and effort and work that you put into building something, and then being so lazy as to not back it up, and then it's all gone. That's a sad thing.
There's so many different messaging platforms, and I think that too, people either do too many at once, and then they can't master the follow-up, because if you're messaging millions of people on every different platform, you're gonna miss a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure. You need to create. So yeah, don't go getting your next source of leads if you haven't perfected your system for the first one. So get everything good and juicy here first, where it's all set and put to bed. Then you can go off and do the next thing. Unless you've got so much money being generated from here that you can find someone you trust to go over there while you're still working on this one. But if you're doing too many things, then you're just it's the same thing. You're falling again. So
if people want to reach out to you and try your trial, where could they reach you?
I am Elisa Bennett, so it's Elisa, and last name is Bennett, Bennett. For branding purposes, I put a B in the middle of that. So if you just search Elisa B. Bennett, all of my pages will show up. I'm on LinkedIn branded that way. I've got on Pinterest, I've got a whole studio about how to create a great profile picture. Most important thing that follows you around across platforms. And I've got the strategy of how to write copy where you become very sticky, and people, if they are your ideal client, will take action on any platform. In the 7-day trial, I'm showing you how to do that on the LinkedIn platform, but it's applicable. I've got people that have used what they've done in that first 5 steps of my program on their website, all over the place. So think of it as branding, content creation cheat sheet, and you have 7 days access to it. I've got people that have done it in 5 days and generated 5 figures from it. I've got one person, she got a gig with NBC speaking. She teaches people how to speak. Tons of great results have been gotten just from those 5 steps alone, and free access. If you type in Elisa B. Bennett or just Elisa Bennett, I own that too. It'll redirect you to the platform, and you can also find me on LinkedIn. Message me there if you need anything. But we should shortly have the pop-up on that page, and if not, there's a little chat box there. If it's not there yet, you can chat me and leave your email address, and I'll send you the link if it's not showing up yet.
Yeah, everyone should definitely check out your site. I loved it when I went on it.
Thank you.
I was actually, a final question. I see you had a couple different. You have like do it together, done, and then you have some done for you. What was the different options?
So it's the do it yourself for people that are more budget conscious or feel like they are such a marketing genius that they really just don't want me to have any extra guidance from me or anything like that. So the do it yourself people, these actual steps and the access to the system is the same for all. There's a middle tier group that done with you where we are meeting weekly and going through the steps that people have accomplished. Sometimes people like me to give a little bit of guidance with their banner or their copy or their follow-up. And then also I'm just coming with the latest tools and tips that I'm excited about to create content super easily. There's an awesome tool called Try Lately. And what Try Lately does is you can paste in a blog post or a video, and it'll chop it up into little thumbnails. And with artificial intelligence, it will write posts for you. Super important because only 10% of your audience is going to see your content on a good day. So if you can get that content back out with some new words that maybe this group will respond to this copy, this group will respond to that copy, and have it on rotation. I've got 4 accounts right now that we're running, and I can just like in an hour, I can go through and click a button, and then it posts to all of them for the month. It's so cool.
That was try weekly.
Try Lately. Lately. Try Lately. And their base model, if you don't want the video clips, but the video clips are super cool. The base model, I think, is around the $100 level monthly. And I think with the video clip option, it's running around maybe 300 or something. You'll have to check, but there is an option to just go to the site and paste in your blog post, so you can use it for free, and it'll chop it up and repurpose it. You can try it out and see if you like it. It also has the posting tool. It has analytics, not for LinkedIn organic. That's the only one it doesn't have yet. There's another tool I recommend to my clients for that. But I'm sharing all the latest and greatest. I found another tool. It's like $99 to $250 for blog posts 4 times a month and all sorts of really cool stuff. No, there's not enough people creating content on LinkedIn. So, I mean, doing something like what you're doing is so brilliant, because we're having this great conversation, but then it can be repurposed into little clips and sent out where you're getting back in front of people and they're seeing how you can help them. So, we do it once.
It's like bite-sized pieces. They get to see the pie instead of committing to a full podcast. Yeah, you get some bite-sized. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't always need the huge
butter cups rather than mine.
I love it. So yes, ElisaBBennett.com. There's the free trial. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. And I appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you being our first guest. I'll put some text with all your links and everything.
Thank you
as well.
Thank you.